Hi, students. We are going to have our first writers workshop today. So what I do with this, usually I'm used to doing this in person, and it is a workshop where we discuss things and I have you guys vote on things. So I've tried to give you the flavor of that in this format of a video. So I've tried to make it fun. So we'll see. Here we go. So my intention always with doing these writers workshops is that by the time that you get finished with this, I really hope that you will have a very good sense of how to write this first paper, of really how to construct each paragraph, and how to uh, get your ideas on this topic um, organized and best expressing your ideas for the topic, and that you'll feel comfortable about writing the paper by the time we finish this. That's my goal. So, and I'll try to make it as fun and hopefully painless as possible. All right, so I'm gonna just go over the prompt a bit here. So the first, and again, they're all argument papers for this class. So it is an argument paper. So again, you do need to take a point of view. So keep that in mind. So again, this first paper is going to be on youth and right to privacy. So it says in this essay, you're going to argue whether children and or teenagers, anyone under 18, have rights to privacy, and if so, how much and in what format. Particularly, you're going to focus on either online or offline, either online or like in the real world, so to speak. All right, so and you want to really explore the complexities of this issue. If you are arguing that youth should have more privacy. Why should they? Excuse me, I have a visitor. That was Melissa, my cat. Why should they? Why should they have more? Why shouldn't they? You're going to look at the different ramifications of that and kind of delve into the complexities of that. So, what are the benefits or the drawbacks to having these privacy rights, or to, having more or less, or even a moderate amount, right? All right, and then it said, should they have these privacy rights in some circumstances, but not in others? Why not? You're going to explore your ideas on that. So you definitely should, for this project, narrow down your topic to and your focus to either, as I said, online or offline, and then you should also narrow down your focus to an age range. So, for example, there are many different developmental stages from, young children all the way through 17-year-olds, right? So you don't want to tackle all of that in one paper. We've only got 3 to 5 pages, and there's no way to get all of those ages in effectively. So you're going to break it down to an age range. For example, 7 to 10-year-olds, or 11 to 13-year-olds, or 14 to 17-year-olds, whatever you want to focus on, but an age range, so that will allow you to have a nice tight focus and just focus on that group. All right, and then it says, I'm just looking over the prompt, so it says, then again, online or offline, and what should that entail, right? So when we're talking online, are we talking social media, email, websites? I mean, just whatever you think, right? But focus, explain, look at the complexities of the issue. Offline, are we talking about navigating through the world independently, going places on your own? Are we talking about the child's room, journals? I mean, just define it as what you're talking about, and explore those issues. All right, and all right, so, and again, you're not tackling all these issues. This is just kind of to get you started thinking, but you do want to look at some of the complexities of the issue. And again, you do need to take a side. So you are not just giving a report on two sides of the issue. You need to take a side. for this, and that will be your thesis, really, is what you are putting forth. And then you'll show that you understand there is another side to the issue. You will, in fact, try to address some of the concerns of the other side, or show why your view is more compelling without, without being offensive to them or name calling or anything like that. You want to approach this logically, but you do want to show that you understand there is another side, and if possible, to convince them in some way. And we'll talk about that. All right, so this is an argument paper. It is an argument essay, but it is in fact an essay. So you must have clear essay structure. You're going to need that clear introduction, a thesis statement, all that in paragraph 1, and then you're going to need your body paragraphs and your conclusion. All right, so standard essay structure, again, everything that you've learned in the previous class of English 120, you are still bringing those skills into this class of English 125. So it hasn't gone away. It's just getting, your skills are just more enhanced, right? But we still have essay structure in place, right? So I went over that a little last time, and I'm going to be going over that more paragraph by paragraph this time. But just to kind of emphasize that point, we still need that essay structure. And again, your intro and thesis statement have to be in paragraph 1 for this essay. It's really a short essay. It's 3 to 5 pages. So intro, thesis, everything is in paragraph 1 for that. And then you're going to need your body paragraphs. Each body paragraph will have that topic sentence, main idea sentence of the essay. It might be a reason that you are arguing for what you're arguing for, a smaller idea that supports the larger idea, but you do need to have that topic sentence for each body paragraph, and your evidence in each body paragraph that supports that topic sentence, and they all support the thesis. In one of the body paragraphs, I am going to ask you to address the opposition, and we're going to work with that. So you're not arguing for them. Again, you have to support your thesis, but that should be in one of the body paragraphs, or it can be in its own body paragraph, as long as you have a topic sentence that supports your thesis. We'll get to that. This is an overview right now. All right, and then you do want to, of course, have a clear conclusion. It has to be a whole paragraph. It can't be tagged on to part of the body paragraph. It needs to be all by itself, in which you touch back on your thesis. And you don't say, of course, your thesis word for word again, but you do touch back on it, give some closure, wrap it up. You could even sum up your topic sentences, offer a final thought, not a different thought, but a final thought that maybe gets to the heart of the matter. That's a possibility, but you definitely want to touch back on that thesis. And what you don't want is new information. No breaking news. I mentioned that before, right? No breaking news. You need to be consistent with your thesis, so it's just wrapping it up. We're just tying a bow on it and closing it up. But it should feel like a satisfying conclusion to the reader. It shouldn't feel like it's coming to a screeching halt suddenly, and the reader is just like, well, I think we're done. I don't know. It seems to just end right here, right? No, don't leave them with that feeling. That's a little confusing. All right, so then sentence structure and grammar. You should use correct sentence structure and grammar, and I would just go with the program that's on your computer program to get that, to check that for yourself. That's probably the easiest way. We're not using a textbook for this class, but that's pretty easy to do nowadays with that. But if you have questions on that, do contact me and ask, because I'm happy to give you some resources to other ways to look that up. And again, MLA style. So we want everything in MLA style. You do not have to do sources for this paper. You can use your own experience if you have something that you would like to include, but if you do use sources, they do need to be cited. And if you're going for that extra credit option for the 7 points extra credit, then you would want to use the sources, right, for your evidence. All right, and we talked about that last time. All right, so and again, yes, MLA. 3 to 5 pages. The less would be three full pages though, and the most would be 5. 12-point font, and at least 5 paragraphs. So not less than 5 paragraphs, and but you could have more body paragraphs. So you've got to have one, intro and one conclusion, but you can have another body paragraph or two if that works out. Sometimes it works out that way. All right, so that's just kind of an overview. We've gone over the prompt, and it's a great idea for you to go over the prompt as well. So last time we went over some articles, and I said that you could use those articles in your paper as resources, and you certainly can. So that would be, great evidence, or even something to bounce off of. You can use them even if you are taking an opposite view. That's totally fine. They're good resources for you. And of course, you can use any college academic sources are fine. And if you have questions on you have a source and you're not really sure, just contact me. I'd be very happy to clear it up. All right, so here's what we're going to do for today. So we know our topic, right? So I had said that you really should do a brainstorm before to kind of really get your ideas out, so you know before you start where you are going with the paper. You don't want to just sort of put it off to the very last possible minute, like, midnight the night before or something, and you're just kind of like, I don't know, I hope it's going to come to me, because what tends to happen, I mean, if this works for you, you go with what works, but what often I would have is that it just wouldn't come, and I'd be really stressed out, or it would be that I was kind of all over the map because I was just grabbing for ideas, right? So to avoid any of that, which is also stressful, so to avoid any of that, it's a good idea to kind of just make some kind of a brainstorm for your ideas about what you think about the issue. You can make a list. You could do, little bubbles, clustering method. A lot of people like that. Whatever works, just get your ideas down. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to narrow it down. I'm going to just pick a topic, and I'm going to pick a topic by rolling some dice. So we're going to pick a topic this way, but you don't have to roll dice. I mean, you could try it, I guess, but you could go with what you really, are thinking and trying to argue. But we're going to roll some dice today. So first thing I said to choose was, are you going to focus on online or offline? So we're going to pick that now. So I am going to roll some dice. I have number 1 is going to, I don't think you can see this pen, it's red. Let's try a black one. I think it would show up better. Number 1 is we're going to go with online, and number 2 is offline. So I'm going to roll the dice. It's a die because it's just 1. So I'm going to roll it. If I get a 1, it's going to be online. If I get a 2, it's going to be offline. And if it's something else other than 1 or 2, I'm going to roll again. All right, so here we go. It's a 3. I'm going to roll again. It's a 5. I'm going to roll again. Wasn't this exciting? 4. Okay, let's try this again. I don't think I should go to Vegas, huh? Okay, here we go. 2. Okay, I got a 2, so we're going to go with offline. All right, fine. Now we need an age range, so I'm going to put some different age ranges down, and then I'm going to narrow it down that way. So let's start with, I'm going to put really young, like 4 to 6, okay? I'm going to pick 7 to 10, 12 to, how about 11 to 13, 14 to 17. Those are going to be my age ranges. Those are 4 different age ranges. Yeah, I don't think any younger would work out at all, and older wouldn't work. So if this is going to be, with my dice, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I get 5 or 6, I'll roll again. And this is how I'm going to pick the age range, okay? If we were in class, we would vote on this. But this is what we're going to do for now. All right, so here we go. And It's a 5. I have to roll again. Okay, it is a 4. So 4 is 14 through 17. All right, so we're going offline 14 through 17. Now I'm going to roll the dice for a point of view. So we're going to go with number 1 is going to be total freedom. total freedom, total privacy, as much as they want. Okay, 2 is going to be moderate amount, and 3 is going to be no privacy. All right, so before I roll the dice for that, let's tease these out a little bit, because some of these you might be saying, well, why would someone think that, and where would they be coming from? And it's really good to think about that, because you want to really discover your own ideas. And sometimes when we look into things, we can even change our minds. This is a critical thinking class. This is a great critical thinking skill. To be able to change one's mind, that's super awesome, right? To be able to switch course and say, I have more evidence, I've thought about this from a different perspective, fine, right? So that's totally fine. Don't change your mind in the middle of your paper, though, because that's just super confusing. But so what we're going to do is just kind of break these down, kind of look at it a little bit, and then I'll roll the dice to pick one, all right? So 1 is total freedom. They have total freedom, total privacy. They can go where they want, do what they want, and that kind of thing. We're talking offline. So this, I certainly, who would be for this? Well, I would think the 14 to 17-year-olds would be quite in favor of that, right? So they can navigate around, as they think is the right thing. So they can go places on their own or with other folks that are their age, without parents and such, teachers and all that around. Their room off limits to parents, I would say. And obviously that's probably the audience would be of the young folks would think that's a good idea. Who would be against this? Well, maybe the parents. Why? Because they might be concerned about safety, or other concerns about not using good judgment or being influenced by peers, things like that, right? So then we look at a moderate amount, where one could have a moderate amount of freedom and privacy. We could talk about what that means. You would define it for what it means for you. There's a term called definition by stipulation. I'm going to write that down. Definition by stipulation. Definition by stipulation, that just means that, like, people have a different idea of what this means. Moderate freedom, moderate privacy for youth, right? You would stipulate in your paper what you think it means, right? So moderate might mean that you can go places independently, but you let your parents know pretty much where you're going, and approximately when they could expect you home, or that you agreed that you have to be home at by a certain time or something like that, right? And if not, if you're going to be late, like, you would call or something like that, right? That might be moderate. However, moderate might look different for someone else, right? So that's where you would stipulate that. You get to decide. You're the writer. You get to decide what the stipulation is. So that's definition by stipulation. All right. So then, no privacy, or you're like, okay, well, who wants that? Probably not these folks, right? But who would? Well, I can, some parents that would be maybe they're just really protective. They're really worried about what's going on and things going on in the world that are dangerous and scary, and they just feel like they want to keep them safe. They want to keep their kids safe, and they want to just take them to where they need to go and make sure they're being supervised and pick them up, and and that sort of thing. And they like, maybe they're reviewing things. They're looking in their rooms to make sure they're not up to something that could harm them. All right, so that's probably who would want that, and they're probably just very concerned, right? So you kind of think, because you are going to need to work with the opposition. So as you're thinking of your own view, Also think of who would oppose this and why. And you don't want to say someone would oppose this because they're just so stupid, right? No. So you're treating your opposition with a spirit of goodwill. They just have a different view. They're intelligent. They are reasonable folks. They just have a different view. And you want to approach it with that spirit of goodwill. You can't really effectively change someone's mind by talking down to them or treating them like they're just clueless, right? So no, you just treat them as another reasonable person who has a different view, but if they could understand more of the details or examples presented as evidence, they might even shift a bit, right? So you just approach them with a spirit of goodwill. All right. So now that we've gone through a bit of that, I'm going to roll the dice. You can, of course, pick the one that you want, but I would again, you have to take a side on the issue, and I would narrow it down in some format to this, right? So I'm going to roll the dice, and we'll see what we get. 1, 2, or 3. If I get 4 or 5 or 6, I roll again. It's a 2, so I'm going with moderate. So it is this one. All right, so I'm going to argue for a moderate amount of privacy for 14 through 17-year-olds offline. All right, so that is what we are going for. All right, so I'm going to just jot that down really quick so I don't forget when I have to erase this. 14 through 17, offline, moderate. Fine. All right, so I am going to write a sample introduction, and then I will break it down, and we'll go through it kind of, line by line, and I'll just, kind of explain the different parts and why they're there. But before that, I want to just be very clear that you don't have to take this view. You don't have to take this age range. We did this I'm doing this as an example, and I try to make it a little bit fun. It keeps me on my toes, and I'm hoping to make it a little more fun for you. So that's why I did it that way. But it's not that we rolled the dice and now that's what you have to write about. No, you still have a choice, right? So you get to choose your own topic within the topic. All right, very good.